Boom, boom, boom. Reminisce, reminisce, reminisce. Carrying the tradition of saying Kofa. Sometimes we got to go back and bring back what is useful. Go by Logic, and I'm here with my brother.
I'm Bender Supreme. What up? What up? Yo, how you doing,
That's
big
how we
bro?
doing it, man. Yeah, doing all right. It's yeah, I guess we just get right into the check-in, man. I feel like I'm still adjusting, coming back from Africa and in this Babylonian system, man. Like I really see how there's so many like invisible things that just keep us distracted from our true essence, from really giving energy to that, because we're divided in so many different spaces. But other than that, I'm still like hopeful and grateful that we have creative outlets like our weekly podcasts and other artistic ways of expressing. It makes the struggle a little bit more bearable. You know what I'm saying? So
Oh
I'm always
man,
like grateful for that. Yeah.
you're right. We all we got is us, and yeah, man, yo, I'm so about that for the next 4 years, yo. Like definitely, because I mean, after this presidency, man, I don't know what the whole world's gonna look like. North America's gonna. I have no idea. So I'm just committed to love and community and healing and wisdom and ancestral, eternal, timeless principles to carry us through the stress.
Mm. 100%. And speaking on that, which is really interesting because when I was in South Africa, um, a Zulu term has been used like quite a bit, and one of our guides was really sharing with us, and it's something that I've heard many times, but for some reason, hearing it in Africa and from someone who's that's their language, it just hit differently. So the word is Ubuntu, which means like I am because we are essentially, right? So that speaks to everything that you're building on and everything that we've been building on, as a matter of fact, is really having that understanding. But I feel like more than ever, as you're saying, with like the new presidency and all these things that are happening, Ubuntu is something that I feel we're going to have to really lean more into, to really see that, it's I am because we are, what I'm saying? Like if my peoples are good, then we're all good. Create opportunities where we can, help out wherever you can, and just doing what you would want if you were in the opposite position, right? So but yeah, like I said, like this is stuff that we've been doing, but it's just nice to hear that there's an actual like word for it, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, that's beautiful. And no, you're right. Like the stuff just gains new context as certain different things happen in the world and time goes on. And I love that. I mean, I love that so many other things happen and we keep going forward in time and we're just like, yo, honestly, like something that we've been talking about 5, 10, 20 years, still relevant. And like, yeah, we really do have to return back to our roots and the principles. And if you don't know your past, you don't know your future is something we were hearing when I was listening to Public Enemy in 1989. Like, yo, the original foundation, like all of this is
yeah.
yeah, man. Ain't a damn thing changed 30 years later. Like if we don't have our African roots, well, we ain't got nothing. And we will definitely be lost.
And that's something I've come to realize, that I think that's like part of our purpose is to leave clues for the next generation to come up in and be like, hey, wait a minute, like you said, all these little golden nuggets that we heard in rap songs from like our childhood.
Yeah.
Back then we understood it, like it sounded good in theory. It's like, okay, obviously you got to know where you're coming from, know where you're going. But
Yeah.
as you get older, you really start seeing what that looks like in practice, especially when history starts repeating itself, because you're like, wait a minute, I've seen this before.
Yeah, totally. This is yeah, for like I love that. I love that phrase. The game don't change, only the players, yo. And I like, yo, I heard that in the Shabazz the Disciple song. It's, the game don't change, only the players.
Right.
Well, some inherit castles and thrones, and some end up deathbed layers. And it's like, yo,
Yeah, man.
straight up Babylon done. Like, there's people who are billionaires, and then there's still dirty ass ghettos who ain't had shit change in 5 generations. And it's like,
Crazy,
man,
man.
they're using the same tactics that they used back in the day. The only difference is there's like a smartphone this time. That's literally the only
That's it.
difference.
Yeah.
Keep oppressive
Yeah,
techniques.
man.
Yeah, and it's like, yo, man, you man, you already know, man. You already know.
Cool, man. Well, on some brighter news, man. This weekend was a pretty solid vibe. Shout out to the AGO for putting on quite a bit of hip hop, Toronto centric type of like exhibitions and panels and whatnot. So over the weekend, it was like the 35th anniversary of Rap City on Much Music, and I got there kind of late because I had my daughter and whatnot, and towards the end, what I mean. So I know that you were there. It's funny because like she was the one who actually spotted you out. I'm like, I can't see mine, but he's like, she's right over there. I'm just like, where? I'm like, I can't find like Waldo. But anyways, so I'm sure that you were there from the jump, so maybe you can speak to what that experience was like, stuff that was discussed on the panel, and then I'm going to show a quick clip, of some like interviews that we got on the fly. You know what I'm saying? So like straight Much Music style.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. Like the first, it was just two different panels. The first one was a smaller panel, and it was Francesca, one of the organizers. Shout out to Francesca. So Francesca was interviewing Michelle Geister, and then the brother who was the first videographer for Rap City. I can't remember his name, but he was the first cameraman for a
Yeah,
black camera. Yeah, so he's an awesome brother. He's bald, has glasses. I'm sorry his name is slipping me, but so in the first half of the panel, it was just them three being interviewed. So like Michelle is like the business behind it, and
yeah.
the brother was the camera behind it. And then the second half of the panel was Matthew Progress. Shout out to that
Shout
brother.
out. Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Matthew Progress was leading the panel that had the four Much Music hosts on it. So it was Master T, Oliver, Namageni, and Tyrone. So
Gotcha.
yeah, that was the second half, and it was, and then that was basically the entirety of the thing. And then the first half was more kind of logistics behind it, and how hard it was to kind of put it together, and then also like some of the support they had. Um, uh,
Gotcha.
and then the second half was just the hosts talking about their experiences on the show.
Yeah, no, that was definitely fire. You know what I'm saying? Like, as we know that Much Music's Rap City was so instrumental to culture and really just shaping our views of like what is possible. Like I remember, and then so many of us have memories like this, like being young. I'm talking like grade 5, grade 6, watching Rap City, and sometimes even younger, watching Rap City and being able to identify like the Canadian videos or the Toronto videos, because some of the the music videos you would see familiar locations and whatnot, and
Yeah,
that was just like really inspiring to know that there's actual quality music that's being created here, not just in Toronto but also in Montreal and coastal, because as music lovers, like, and that's one thing I really appreciate about Much Music was the variety of just like they would scout out like the cream of the crop, on the underground, like the up and coming artists that deserve to get the shine, like how it's supposed to be to me, you know what I'm saying? And it just opened up the doors for a lot of awareness and encouragement for us artists on the come up.
you're
So
abs you nailed it out the park, man. And they actually really went into the logistics of how they put it together. I was really impressed with the cameraman, that brother.
yes,
He said a few things that I was like, yo, you're so on point. And he's like, yo, man, when we would go from city to city, he's like, we would cover concerts and we would cover the local scene and we would have the
right,
listings of and I was like, yes, you did. Sometimes I didn't know anything was happening until you see like, yo, so and so is coming to your town, and like the
right,
Rap City listings were there. And he's like, when we went to go cover people, he's like, we always wanted to do an establishing shot. So we had an outside shot of the venue.
right,
And I was like, yep, you always
yeah,
did. I remember
every
you would
time,
show the venue, like, this is where we're at. We're rolling up to the spot. And then you would roll in and you would see the artists doing their thing. And I was like, yo, you really,
yeah.
at the time, it was like really cutting edge. You couldn't get more of a actual
And like
experience.
yeah, the experience, that's what it is. You got the experience.
Got
Yes,
the
yes,
full experience, and they would be like, some of their crowd shots are great. They're like, yo, you see the concert, and I
yeah,
was in Ottawa, and I was like, yo, the Fushnikins concert in 1991. Like, Fushnikins are not coming to Ottawa, but they're in Toronto, and I'm
right.
watching it on Rap
You get
City.
that little glimpse, that little snippet.
Oh, if you're only going to show 3 minutes of the concert, I'll
Yeah,
take it. This is great.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So they were really good about that. He broke all down the process of how much they really wanted to cover the scene and the people and how intentional that was. And I was like, yo, you guys did it. And
Yeah, you know what I think that made Much Music such like a great spot is that a lot of the people are already artists themselves. So you're gonna have an artist lens when you're gonna look for, things that are interesting and that people would want to know about. But
yeah,
that's great that we talked about the logistics of, the establishing shots and different shots that they got that really capture like the essence. So you got that experiential feel, which I thought is dope. So yeah,
yeah,
man.
they really did. And thankfully, the two of the most golden moments, they had a lot of golden moments, but two of
Yeah.
the more, do you want to go into that first? I can wait.
Well, I mean, you can definitely go into a golden moment like real quick, and then we'll get into this exclusive. And I have to do an intro for some of these mini interviews. But anyways, go on. You say your piece, and then I'll just follow up with that.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'll start with one of them. It was really good that Oliver got to go into his experience with Biggie Smalls, and
Okay.
that was so important because there was a few Much Music memories that were just like, not only yeah, I'll talk about Biggie Smalls first because it was not like Oliver was talking about how he got to play pool with Biggie Smalls and how
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
he was like, he goes, he revealed, he's like, yo, I could tell Biggie was nervous and he was just like unsure of himself. So then I remembered that Biggie talked about how he liked playing pool. So I figured, yo, let's go to a pool hall that's right down the street from Much Music. And then he goes, I literally saw Biggie change when we were in the pool hall. He was like so laid back and he like kind of hustled me for my money. You could see Biggie was in his element. And then he was
That's
like,
amazing.
I'm at a pool table. I'm chilling. So you got to talk about that,
Yo.
and then on top of that, the videographer was talking about how he was the one who captured the Biggie concert, and there's some epic.
Wow. Oh, and he's the one who's like in it.
He
Like,
was in it. He was in it. There's this legendary
yeah.
footage of Biggie Smalls performing, and I definitely have to talk about that because, as I was saying, I didn't get to tell you. I told my other homie there's a Bad Boy documentary that came out last year that said, look at this Biggie Smalls footage of young Biggie rocking in Brooklyn. And it was a lie.
Toronto.
It was the Toronto footage. And they like
Crazy.
and
Nah.
only us Canadians were like, that's not fucking Brooklyn. That's our footage from
Nah, they did us
Toronto.
dirty, man. They did us
It's like,
dirty on that one.
and we were
Nah,
like,
nah.
yo, this is our vibe. So that very cameraman who took that footage talked about it. And he was even like, he goes, there was Rottweilers at the door when we came in the van. I was like, what, bro? So he was like, he was just revealing all these amazing details that were just unknown. So that was great.
Well, I love that. You know what? And I definitely wish I was there to get those logistics because, everything that we do is definitely inspired by like that Much Music way of coverage. You know what I mean? Where it's authentic, it's real, it's on the ground. And, just that story that you mentioned, really speaks to integrity as like a journalist for one, right? So for example, guys like, recognizing that Biggie is a little nervous and whatever, and then to think about, oh, I have an idea that relates to something that was said from before and how he opened up. You don't get that kind of journalism, you know what I'm saying, where people are actually looking about like how can we make this the most meaningful experience for both of us, as opposed to let me just get this quick like or whatever the shadow, and then we're gone. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
it.
Like,
Like, how do we make a timeless memory instead of just doing a basic Q&A? And be like, yo, how did you start rapping? Or ask a bunch of basic ass questions that anybody knows. It's like, no, man, like show that you understand this artist and you respect him and that you love him and that like that you're gonna do something for him, that you're gonna get something out of him that not everybody gets. You're like, yo, you got infinite timeless footage of you losing to Biggie Smalls on a pool table. That's like that. What an honor to like to get hustled by Biggie. Awesome.
yeah, yeah, facts, man. And just to speak to that, like you definitely carry on that tradition. I'm saying like, yo, like Much Music dropped the ball. I'm gonna say it, man. They dropped the ball by not having you as a VJ on there. Like they dropped the ball on that, man, like straight up. Because, and I'll tell you this why, right? Because I'm gonna play this footage. And for the viewers, I want y'all to just, for those who are old enough to know the Much Music video VJ vibe in that era, just like picture Mindbender in that setting, how he interacts with people. And I'm just saying, like, you're meant to be in that position, but that's okay though, man. That's what Stolen from Africa's for.
That's what we
We're
do.
going to represent
I
and
tried, man. I
come with that
tried.
authentic stuff. But this goes to your point where it's like it's not a Q&A. It's, oh, you have a way of connecting with people that, inspires them to share exclusive stories. And I've done interviews with you enough to say that this is not like a one-trick pony kind of vibe. This happens consistently. Like there's going to be some type of gem, and every time it comes out, I'm like, that's the golden nugget. Oh
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
So
yeah. And
all
it's
right.
so it's unconscious and it's just natural. But I tried so many times to be the Black George Strombolopoulos. I tried.
Yes, no, you listen.
I submitted multiple. I submitted actually in my application. I submitted 3 interviews: one with Eternia, one with a brother from Double Soul, and another
Wow.
rapper. And then I submitted a 200-page petition. Not 200-page, 200-name petition of 200 different names. I got people to sign that. I was like
Yeah.
saying I had people that wanted me to be a VJ, and that never happened. But it's all good.
Well,
It's
it's okay because guess what? Well, like I said, man, we're gonna keep on going that energy. I mean, we're already doing that, already at the concerts, Mr. Front Row, like I'm always here documenting, getting the coverage and whatnot. So we're just gonna, create our own platforms as usual. You know
Yep.
what I mean? Because again, it's that exclusive. Anyways, we're gonna play this clip of Nam, one of the, can't say the most important VJ, but one of the important VJs I feel, man, that really brought flavor to much, you know what I'm saying? And she shares this one story, interestingly enough, about Mary J. Blige. Mary J. Blige was in Toronto yesterday for a performance, but she shares a story where she got confronted by Mary J. Blige. So let me play this. Let me see what we got here.
We are here with the one and only
Nam. Nam Kiwanuka, yeah.
Oh my
seeing
God,
you.
it's so good to see you.
Yeah.
I would love to one day have a long, extended conversation about journalism and
Bet.
culture and life and all that stuff.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
I'm just gonna ask you,
Yeah.
what is your hardest moment to be a professional and not to fan out when you were doing?
Oh, the interview.
Yeah, when you were interviewing or just working that much, or on Rapcity.
Mary J. Blige.
Word.
Yeah. But
Word.
I have a story. I'd written about her,
Okay.
and she did not like the story.
What?
So the label put her on the phone at one point, and she yelled at me.
Wait. Mama?
We could talk more next time we talk.
Yeah.
But long story short, then like a year or two later, I'm at Much Music and I'm interviewing her. But things had changed.
Yeah.
And it went fine. But there was that moment where like, oh my God, it's Mary. I love her. She hates me. I gotta do this interview.
My heart is throbbing for you right now.
But it went well. She was a professional. I think it was just a misunderstanding. But we'll talk more next time.
We will.
I gave you the scoop.
Yeah, we will. Planet. Yo.
King Lou, one half of the almighty Dream Warriors crew, and the next half is
Oh shit. I'm like, oh.
Heavenly
Perfect.
beauty unfolds on stage.
Rasta.
what up, Q?
Legendaries in the house. What was it like when you saw your video on Much Music for the first time? Like, what feeling came to you?
I think it was a feeling that we actually have now entered our own lane, because it's solidified to the nation who these brothers are. Obviously, we are creative. Obviously, we're a mix of cultures, because we come from the West Indies, but we live in Canada.
Yeah.
We had something that represented us like a sugarcane staff.
Love that.
So we were a package, now with a video to the nation.
And, thank you for the history you made. Thank you.
They still can't wash their face in my sink.
Yeah, man. So I definitely I can play a little bit more, man. But I just wanted to say, like, like the energy, the vibe, like people just open up and just want to be themselves. And I feel like that's like something that's missing when it comes to just journalism and things that I've seen online. Everything just so like performance based. You know what I mean? It's not authentic. Like make it sound like you're having a conversation with a good friend over some lobster or something. You know what I mean? Like y'all are breaking bread and you're just having a conversation. Like that's the vibe.
That's all it is, man. I don't know how to do anything else, man. I don't do this performative stuff. I ask questions. Like, I didn't do any real studying for this. It just came from the heart for these things. It just, things in the moment for people who loved Rapcity the way we loved Rapcity, and just, but like, yeah, there's definitely studying history that I could do, and like at some point we will sit down and just go deeper and have these ill conversations and just do this history. But yeah, thank you.
Yeah, man, that's what's up, man. So everyone can check out the full interviews. You know what I mean? Like, and this is all on the spot. I was like, Bender, look, I know you got to go, but let's get some quick interviews, man. Just like one question, let's go, boom, 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 boom. And of course, Bender's always down to hustle like that, and just grab whatever he can. And everything was gold. Like every comment that people shared was like an episode on TV. I'm like, I want to watch this show. I want to see what's happening next. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love where we over here, like this woman from Play the Record.
Oh yeah, she's
it's just Play the Record.
Sorry. Yes, you are. Do you want to ask one question? Yes.
No, what the hell?
Awesome.
No.
We're just gonna do one question. First, what is your name?
I'm Fionn or Sad Step. Work at Play the Records. Yes.
So we were just asking, do you have a particular memory of Rapcity that sits in your heart very warmly and nicely? Anything?
To be honest, I wasn't at that time. So my first time knowing Rapcity is from Drop the Needle.
Oh, amazing.
And the moment that I was like, oh my God, it's because I came from visual art.
Okay.
So when I see the opening scene, the artist is the same as Lee's Palace artist.
That's right.
I was like, oh my God, I get it. Oh my God.
You definitely do get it, because that's some classic Canadian stuff, and that's something that we originated. That's a Canadian Toronto.
Seriously, nobody talk about it, but the shirts that people are wearing, the Retro Kid shirt, that's like the visual memory of like the scene for me first. But so many television have the opening scene and nothing is significant, but like Rapcity, and oh my God, I have to say this, Michelle is my inspiration.
I see that.
She want to interview everyone. I want to tattoo everyone.
Yes.
I want to tattoo all the bands.
Yo, I hope your dream comes true.
Oh, I did. I tattoo 100 bands now.
Oh, 100?
100 bands. I tattoo 100 bands before 10:30.
You're a legend. Yo, and thank you for everything you do with Play the Record. We need that. Rapcity and Play the Record is so...
Sponsored. Play the Record sponsored Rapcity. Don't forget about that.
Yes.
Rapcity was sponsored by Play the Record. Yes. And bye-bye tracks.
Yes. All real hip hop as well. I can't say that too much, but like
I said, man, like just the energy, to me, like we're giving them what the city's missing, man. Like this is the energy that's missing, the community. You know what I mean? The Styles in Progress, man, like the 416 Graffiti Expo type vibes, the elemental type energy. You know what I mean? That community, man. Bringing it back.
They ain't getting no plastic fake bullshit, no internet hater, no like asking no safe question for no clickbait bullshit, none of that, man.
Nah, man, this is all the real. And like I said, man, no matter who you're talking to, even when it comes to the legends, man, you still have a way to bring them up, man. So I'm gonna play this last one, and again, folks who want to check out the interviews. And more is coming, Don't worry, we're gonna keep this ball going, man. Let me just play this.
Reminisce Show with a man who needs no introduction, but I'll let him say his name in his beautiful voice.
No, please introduce me. I need an introduction.
Okay.
I got a little nervous here.
This man has created many of the original shows in Canada and worldwide to educate us, to uplift us, to inspire us, and make us happy from time. You know him as Master T.
Blessings.
I saw my first Lauryn Hill show ever when you put her on your final show.
Blocko.
Yeah, in that Blocko. I ran from my house on Jarvis. I ran through Eaton Center, and I ran because I was sitting at home watching it, and you had a surprise, and nobody knew. I was like, "Who's the surprise guest?" And you were like, "I got Lauren." And Lauren's is in the much parking lot with an acoustic guitar. I ran, and I saw the show.
A lot of people did not get it.
Yes,
they wanted the hits, but Lauren was not performing the hits. She was about the new Lauren, and if you go back and listen to the lyrics of those songs, some of those songs were foreshadowing a lot of events that happened shortly after.
That is so real, and I thank you for that memory amongst so many other ones. And just to keep it quick and sweet for now, who was one of the most surprisingly difficult artists to interview? Like, I mean, I'm not asking for dirt, but just like.
I mean, I wouldn't say they had real levels of difficulty. I mean, you know, if you're going to interview Mariah Carey, you're coming with your whole diva, glam team and all the rest of that stuff. But she wasn't really difficult or challenging. And most of the artists, they know what they're there for. It depends on when you caught them and how you caught them. Did he just come off a plane? Did he just come off a bus? Did he come off a plane and had to go do interviews before? Because I remember I'd interview people who goes, yeah, we ain't got no food yet, and we gotta go talk and go, yeah, how you doing? Okay, all right, great. You know what I mean? But you're a human being, right? So you embrace that. You understood that these people are dealing with life just like anybody else. So I'd always kind of the one person that people said was the most difficult person to interview was Mary J. Blige, and I always got along with her famously because I respected her, who she was as a person and an artist, and as a young person being pushed into this at 19 years old and being told where to go, what to sit, grooming schools, whatever. But I understood her, and she respected that. So, and she's someone I call like an industry friend, just because of the fact that there's a connect.
Beautiful. I totally hear that. I had a quick interview with Pharrell once, and they're like, this is his 5th interview in all day, so they're like, he could be prickly, and he wasn't that nice. And I was like, hey, at least they told me, like, you've had a lot of interviews. And then I had a moment where I was like, how do you feel about Old Dirty Bastard? And the moment I said the name Old Dirty Bastard, it like opened up his energy, and he's like, yo, he was all happy and whatever. And I was like, yo, this is real, these are people and whatever.
Yeah. And that point goes back to kind of like that Biggie point as well. Being able to know how to pivot, to like read the room and shift the energy to, go for the best kind of result, that authentic connection, man. That's what's up.
That's it. And all of these people, we asked for like one question, and like we asked for one question, but then they're like, oh, we're gonna have like a short conversation, and they're like, they didn't want to like stop and then just bounce. They didn't be like, all right, here's your like 6-word answer and then I'm out. They're like, no, let's open up. And I'm like, oh, this is just the beginning, and thank you, and we know that we can definitely talk further, and we will. So yeah, especially Nam, Nam was a real one.
Yeah, and knowing, having the ability to know, to let like the subject like speak and share their stories, because it's so interesting to watch. Like as you were talking about like Lauryn Hill and sharing your like visual descriptive story, I literally picture you like running like through the Eaton Center, like dodging people.
I'm not even joking. It's so real. I ran through from Jarvis, through Ryerson, through Eaton Center, through Main Street, like just sprinting. And I got there in like, I only missed like 1.5 songs. I got there in like 7 minutes. I'm running down.
For him, and then even when you look at Master T's like response to that, even at then, like, that was like his block out, he's closing off, and he wanted to come with like a particular like message. And he said like, yo, the people didn't get it. That's what he said. So it sounded like that's something that's still like on his like conscious, and it really spoke to some of the events that happened right after that, which is true. I mean, one could argue that it's still relevant right now with the events that are happening. You know what I'm saying? So
absolutely.
Lauryn Hill's acoustic album, right?
Yeah.
But anyways, that's great that Master T was able to like say that on this platform and whatnot. So
yeah, it was so dope. It was an honor. That actually is. I've taken a few pictures with him. I've talked to him. I've shaken his hand. That guy is a hero to me, absolute hero. That technically is like my first time actually interviewing him, and it was just one question, but I was so honored and happy to have that, and I hope to have like a real sit down and just talk to him for an hour. Hopefully, we can just chop it up.
Honestly, like like let's. Like I would love to just be there to film that and just like, get that on the road, because he's well, I don't want to call him like an elder, you know what I'm saying? But like he's
he's an OG.
Definitely OG who has that knowledge and wisdom, because it's true, like what they were doing back then was so innovative, and we got to carry that legacy. You know what I mean? Because we still care about the community and still want to tell authentic stories and whatnot. So it's like, man, to sit down with someone like him and get some insight, I think that would be real dope, So, hey, let's put that out there, man.
No doubt. I definitely, man, hopefully by the summer or something, when the energy is right, just like, oh, man, yeah, like love to Master T, man. Like, I love that.
That's it, man.
Yeah, yeah. I love it. Like he's like positive, but he also it ain't about no bullshit, man. He doesn't tolerate no fuckery. But he's like,
No,
I'm a positive role model, and I knew like he was never an embarrassment to the black community. He was never an embarrassment to like
yo,
Caribbean people or whatever. And he had a very difficult position, and he had to navigate like business and
and
corporate
push it
things.
through with grace. You know what I mean? Like grace and professionalism, and but still militant.
Yeah,
You know
straight
what I'm
up,
saying?
straight up. Yeah, he like
Well,
no ray tay tay, no fuckery, never.
you know what comes to mind, and I didn't make this connection until now that we were talking. You know, Master T kind of, I almost put him in the same category as like, in an interesting way as like Reading Rainbow and like Mr. Rogers and just people who like really use like the TV element to really, inject like knowledge and wisdom and representation. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? Like I kind of see him as a way because when you look at like even all the shows, I mean, I'm talking about like the live performances, like the in studio performances, like Much Music was they were so innovative when it came to that. You know what I'm saying? Like having freestyle sessions and all kinds of battles and things
Yes.
live on TV.
Yeah,
Like that would never happen today. Are you crazy? Like man's off the street just like getting this platform.
you're right.
Yo,
National platform to dance or rap or turntable. There's so many DJs I saw
off
just
of that, yeah.
up on there, and I'm like, yo, man, like, yo, even if it's just a 5 minute ting, be like, yo, man, this it's ill.
Yo,
How often do you
I'll
get?
tell you this. I'll tell you this, man. Mike D, the same artist that you interviewed, who did that Rap City, display for Michelle. He reminded me, man, because when he said like, "Yo, like Barry Good," and I was like, "Yo, that reminds me of this boat cruise that we went to in Barry." This is back in 2003, like long before social media, MySpace was popping or whatever. But going back to Much Music, it was myself, Misery, and Calculus. Remember Calculus?
Yeah, yeah.
We got Misery got invited onto like the mix. It was like a Saturday morning or something like that with Nam because we would always sell CDs in front of Much Music on Queen Street. And eventually she was like, okay, well, why don't you guys come through or whatever. So we
What?
did that. And Misery did like a freestyle or whatever. I'm like chilling in the cut, just like, on stage. I'm like, yeah, we on TV. That's cool. That same day we left and went to Barry, and we were like famous, like superstar, because everybody saw us on TV. So it was like that like boost is a real thing, you know what I'm saying? And it
Yes.
goes across Canada.
Yeah.
And so at that time it was like, whoa, like the reach, like the awareness and the recognition, because like being featured on Much Music in any level is like equivalent to being verified in today's day. You know what I'm saying? Like
Oh, no
you're
doubt.
you're you're on Much, you're verified.
Yeah, no doubt. That's like a blue check on social media for real.
Yeah. That's a blue check.
Yo, like I gotta say, like I talked about it in the clips that they were showing. They were showing a little clips at the Rhapsody event at the
Yeah.
AGO. Oh man, I will never forget the chill I got through my body in grade 9 when I saw Really Living by the Rascals for the first time. Because I don't know exactly how. I think it was Oliver saying, yeah, this is Rascals from Vancouver or something, but something tipped me off that it was like a Vancouver group. And I had never really heard Vancouver hip hop. It was the beginning of us in like Toronto and Ottawa. I was going back and forth, Toronto, Ottawa. But it was like, I only know about East Coast Canadian hip hop. I'd heard some Halifax dudes. I never heard Vancouver. And when I saw Really Living for the first time, man, that shit literally brought tears to my eyes, man. I love that song. I love the Rascals so much. I was like, who are these dudes? This is one of the illest things I've ever seen. The beat, the
Like
rhymes.
hip hop to this core.
It was so amazing, and it like changed my brain so much. I was like, Canadian hip hop is so amazing. These guys are out in Vancouver. Wow. Like I would, and that's the other thing. Like, remember when like you would see other dudes and you might feel like they were competition to you, or you're just hating on them. You're like, oh man, they ain't in our crew, so fuck them or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, like when everyone's like young and all dumb and territorial. But then some people were so ill, you just couldn't help but be inspired by them. And I was like, wow, Rascals inspired me. It's like, I can't even hate on them.
Rascals. Definitely, Rascals what was dope. Dreaded Fist of the Northwest was like definitely my tune, and I only got put onto Rascals because my boy K, and he was part of like the BMG street team at the time. And
Okay.
like, what I mean, like back in the day, this is like late 90s. So like street teams were lit, man, because you would get like the sampler CDs, you would get sampler cassettes, you would get stickers, you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes we get invited to shows, like all kinds of like exclusive stuff. Like I remember I had a Capone and Noriega, the reunion do-rag. They had a
Do-rag.
branded do-rag, yo. Like it's
Do-rag.
crazy, you know what I mean? So being part of that and then getting all these exclusives, and of course, being part of BMG with the Rascals. I was like an extra in one of Rascal's video, the video where they had Bret Hart, the wrestler.
Oh,
I was there.
oh,
We got
nice. You were in that.
invited
Yo,
to that.
that's sick.
Yeah, in the back, and I was like, "Whoa, this is a real music video." I'm like, "This is crazy, man. This is hip hop." You know what I'm saying? So it
That's
was definitely
amazing.
a vibe. And then as I'm reminiscing right now, I'm thinking about some of the French artists, like Domatique, and there's another one out in Montreal that would like representing. You know what I mean? So much music definitely put us on to a lot of things that were happening, like coastal and just getting more aware. And like I don't know, man. To me, like that's just what's missing from culture. Like the nurturing and elevating of it. Where things aren't just like commodified all the time. You know what I mean? Like it's about nurturing the culture and their essence.
That's it. That's it, man.
Anyways, man, it's all good.
Yeah,
We
no,
got
we live it and we go, it's not the widespread thing it used to be, but it hasn't totally disappeared, and we just carry on
no.
that tradition. We were evolving it into the modern age the best that we can, and just
That's it, Joe.
same way Reminisce Show takes back from the past to bring forward. Like we're gonna take
Yep.
pieces of much music and just do it now.
That's it, man. That's it. 100. Well,
Yeah,
speaking of stuff, yeah, any shows coming up? I know that Mary J was here Monday. Anything else that's coming up that's on your radar? Hip hop scene in Toronto. T that.
no, no. Unfortunately, I wish I was at that show. Shout out to Mary J. She's one of the greatest performers out. It would have been my literally number 13 or 14th time I've seen Mary. So I'm not angry, but I'm a super fan and I wish I would have gone. Yeah, the Styles P show is at 420, but I can't remember who else is coming up with him. Yeah. The AZ show happened. Conway's, as we were saying, Conway's supposed to get rescheduled.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I don't know what else is popping. Yeah, we'll see what's happening. A couple, I guess the Roots picnic is coming up soon.
Oh,
I mean, yeah, they're not
listen,
coming
bro.
here, but one I think I want to get to that one year. Damn it!
No, we actually, you know what? That's going to be something else that we're going to be planning in the near future, man. I'm putting that out there where road trips, especially over the summer to like certain festivals. I know, for example, like Detroit has Afro Nation, which I think would be like really dope to check out and just like interview like concert goers and artists and whatnot. I think the amount of I just anyways, I can see it all in my head. It's going to be wonderful. Anyways, more concerts, more events, more festivals, and yeah, man, just bringing that voice to the people, man.
You said it, man. We got to. We out here. Word, man.
I guess we can close off like that. It was a good reminisce session. Going to be posting more stuff on the YouTube channel, getting more content up there, getting the interviews up.
Yep.
Keeping this energy going, man. Representing.
No doubt. I'm gonna take care of this little minor injury I got, but we still out here having fun, representing.
That's right. That's what's up, man. All right, so we're gonna sign off like that. Reminisce Show carrying the tradition of Sankofa, because sometimes we got to go back and collect. We forgotten them, but I'm gonna add Ubuntu, which is I am because we are. So I'm gonna leave y'all like that. See y'all next time.